Behind me.
Welcome to Warrior Class.
Where the teachers whoop ass,
Yeah,
and you will too
if you
if you
pass.
pass.
Now, this episode, we're dealing with the warrior mindset.
You're a bow.
Um, it'll be just me and Omaniki today. I think Belay is traveling for some home fun and stuff like that. So,
So for some what?
home fun.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
think. I think it was home fun. Um, so we're gonna get to it. No, on the let me see, the 26th, I believe, or 27th. I think it's 27th. Me and Belay will be in Virginia for uh, Happily Natural Day, and so in Richmond, Virginia. So I guess we'll be doing the broadcast from there. We'll join you from there if you're available, Manigi.
Yeah, I might have been available to travel if someone had invited me.
No, this one we got flown, so
I'm just kidding. It's,
he was
it's
only
cool.
flown.
I'm not available to travel.
Yeah, he's flying two folks, so
That's wonderful.
yeah.
I
So
can't think of two better people who should go then.
thank you. We'll be representing. We'll be representing.
That's what's up.
Um,
And greetings, family. I'm not in the chat right now. I'm not going to be able to be in the chat today, but I'm sure Bob will be able to keep an eye on it.
all right. So first off, want to say Black August resistance and the response, of course, for those watching who don't know, is long live the dragon. Okay. So for Black August, we wanted to do a warrior mindset episode.
Yeah, Bob.
So we're gonna get into it. We have any news? You got any news?
No, I don't have any news. No. Mm-mm.
The one news that I have is that a company bought, and I should have looked up the company. A company bought, not African Ancestry, but Ancestry.com. Some company that has nothing to do with DNA, medical, anything,
Mm.
for $4.3 billion, I believe. Um, that's kind of scary because why they buying up DNA?
DNA.
So all of y'all who gave up your DNA, you probably seeing some seeing some of you running around, some clones of you running around in a couple of years, and maybe
Mm.
you have to tell your spouse, I swear to God, that's not my child. So some stuff gonna be going on. I don't know why they purchased it, but hopefully it's nothing too insidious. You know. Other than that, I guess we can get started. Ominiki, if you wanna start us off.
Sure. So what I'm covering is boosting or building self-confidence, discipline, and developing the warrior's mindset. And those things, in many respects, go hand in hand. So it's appropriate for them to be covered together. The warrior's mindset, there is some separate components to that. So what I'll do is talk about right now building self confidence and developing discipline.
All right.
One of the first things that you want to do when you're building or boosting your self confidence is to control your thoughts. So that if you're having too much negative self talk or too many negative, I can hear. Excuse me, Baba. I can hear an echo. Can you hear like an echo or something like that? Do you think that's me? I just don't want to go into it, and it'll be difficult to listen to.
Uh, yeah, I don't hear an echo.
It's like a chirp or something.
I hear that chirp.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what that is. Not sure.
Okay.
Hello, hello. You speak.
Is it me? Yeah, it's like I
Uh,
don't know.
do you have YouTube on your phone or something else?
No. Hold on. Let me just make. No, no, I'm definitely not playing YouTube because I have to use my phone for my notes.
So I don't. Yeah, I don't have any YouTube up or any other site up.
Mm-mm. Okay.
Yeah, I don't
All
know.
right. That's fine. Excuse me, family. So I'll go back to the self talk.
All right.
You want to be aware of any self talk that's going on inside your mind, which, of course, are the thoughts that you have about yourself and what it is that you're doing. Anything that you're undertaking, you want to be seeing yourself being successful with that thing. You don't want to be, constantly getting down on yourself. People have the habit, and I don't know if it's because of the way that comedy is right now or the way that it's become in the last few years, but we can all be kind of self-deprecating. And that can be funny, at times, but you don't want that to seep into your thoughts where whenever you
Dr. Boss said it's loud. He said no, it's not just you. Let me see. Dr. Boss says loud.
yeah,
Maybe
I'm here.
you
The more I talk, the more I can hear it.
okay. Well, I'll mute my mic while you talk. I'm sorry.
Okay, let me see if I don't hear it now. Okay, so maybe that's what it is. Okay. Um, self-deprecating humor is one thing, and if that's what you want to do, then that's one thing. But you never want to let that get into your thinking about yourself and the way that you view yourself. Whenever you embark on something, you want to, like I said, you want to see yourself being successful. Let me see. Also, you want to watch your circle because you also want to watch the people in your circle and the things that they have to say about what it is you're doing. If you find yourself around the kind of people that sort of never have anything good to say, then of course the first thing you want to do is make them aware of it, because if they're around you, it must be someone who you care about. So make them aware, of the way that they tend to go, if they skew negative, and try to work with them on that. But if you find that working with them is not working, if you find that they are just willful and they really don't care to change that thing about themselves, then you may want to start to find yourself in a different place than that person. And that can even be family. It can especially be family in some cases, and that's difficult. But I think that a lot of us have been in a place with family where it can get to a toxic, negative place. We don't want that to impact our view of ourselves. So just think about that. Another important key, and this is a quote by author Ash. He says, one important key to success is self confidence. A key to self confidence is preparation. So, it can be difficult to be confident in something if you don't think that you're going to do well at it. So, what you want to do is make sure that you're preparing yourself as much as possible for anything that you're starting. For instance, if you were going to take a test, obviously, if you're taking a math exam and you've never looked at the kind of math that it is, you have no familiarity with whatever it's going to be, then you're going to feel like you're not going to do well, even if you might do all right, but you're not going to feel that way because it's kind of a stressful situation. But if you prepare, if you make sure that you're studying, then you are going to feel a lot more confident about that. So make sure that whatever you're doing, that you prepare yourself to do. Also, and I'm going to speak more about this later when I talk about the warrior's mindset. You want to know your principles and you want to live your principles. Our principles, I think, as there might be a preaching to the choir component about that in this particular group with the people who we have that regularly watch the show. But a lot of people don't take time to think about their principles. We're handed certain things by the television or the media or, whatever you want to, wherever people tend to get their opinions from. And that starts to be, what you think it is that you're living by. Or, obviously with certain religious people, they start to think that the things that they are taught in their particular religion is their principles. But are you living by those principles? Are they really your principles? Are those things really what you think about every day? Or is that just what you talk about when it comes to, if someone asks you what your principles are? Oh, I live by the golden rule. I do this and this and that. It sounds good, but it may not really be what you're doing. So you want to take time to think about that. And if you find some good principles that you can align your life with, that will definitely build your self-confidence as well. And it can be difficult when you don't have an idea of what your principles are, because sometimes you can feel quite directionless. So that's why it's very, very good to make sure that you know the principles that you intend on living by. Another thing that you want to do to help build your self-confidence, and this is something that Baba talks about all the time, is you learn how to chop down a tree by chopping down a tree. So you do that, or that would be called increasing your competence. The more, excuse me, you feel more competent by becoming more competent, and you become more competent by actually going out and doing. Studying and practicing, is very important. Like I mentioned before, of course, you want to study before you embark on a task, but the practice part is also extremely important. So you want to make sure that you're out chopping down that tree, whatever it is that you're trying to do, chop down that tree each day. Do small bits at a time. If you don't feel very confident at first, do a little bit at a time. But, incremental achievements are real achievements. And so you might accomplish something tomorrow, and it might be a very small thing, but you have that under your belt. So then you go the next day and you accomplish something else. Now you have 2 things. You keep going on and on. You have 10 things, you have 20 things. So that will help increase your competence, which will help boost your self-confidence. Along with that, like I just mentioned, you want to set small goals and make sure that you achieve them. You want to make sure that you're shooting for something that is achievable. Whatever it is that you're trying to do, think about, okay, what can I accomplish today? What can I accomplish this week when it comes to this particular goal? And then accomplish that thing. If you break off small chunks at a time and work in bursts, then there will be no time will pass before you're able to achieve whatever goal it is that you're looking at. And then when you start to feel good about that and repeat that process over and over again, that helps build and boost your self-confidence. You also want to, along with the eliminating the negative self-talk and kind of the negativity around you based on the things that you'd like to do, you want to focus on solutions when you're doing things. It's important and it's valuable. And I remember hearing Umar Johnson talk about how if you have an issue with your car, that you have to study and figure out what that issue is. You can't just jump into it and say, okay, well, I can't be dwelling on this problem. I got to just try to, you can't work a solution to something without thinking about the problem. But you don't want to be over consumed with thinking about problems all the time. You want to be solution based. You want to focus on those solutions, because that's one of the best things that you can do to boost your confidence. Dwelling on problems all the time, talking about all that all the time can really kind of drag you down. So just think about that, when you, in your day to day, like I said, in the thoughts that you're thinking, and also the things that you're saying out loud to yourself and out loud to other people, really think about that. Exercise is another thing that you can do to help boost your self-confidence. because it's such an empowering thing. Especially if you get up early in the morning, you set a goal that you want to do these particular things, and then you accomplish that, and you do that each day. Excuse me.
I apologize.
Hold up. Excuse me.
I apologize. I don't. All right, let me jump in there. Ominiki had to deal with her son real quick. Um, when I put up, excuse my wife across the screen, and Ominiki's back, so I'll get to that later.
Sorry about that, family. Um, so yeah, exercising is very important. It's an empowering activity that you can accomplish every day. It's something small that you can do to boost your confidence every day because you see the results in yourself. That's another thing. And it makes you feel really good. So consider making sure that you do some form of exercise every day, even if it's just walking, or even if you just start with a little bit of walking. Just think about, oh, I did half a mile today. I did a mile, and you just keep building on that. Another thing that you can do is empower yourself with knowledge. Empowering yourself in general is one of the best strategies that you can have for building your confidence. And you can do that in many ways, but the surest way to empower yourself is through knowledge. This is along the same vein as building confidence and getting prepared. By becoming more knowledgeable, you'll be more confident, and you become more knowledgeable by doing research and studying. Use the people around you who have done the things that you want: books, magazines, and educational institutions. Now, we have gotten into using Google, and Google is an important resource, but I think people of a certain age who I'm talking to out there know that everything is not on Google, and especially like the most valuable things. They're not on Google. So you want to go out and use real world resources. Like I said, people who who've actually done the things that you want to do. That's going to be one of the most valuable and most important things that you can use to help yourself build competency in a real way with the things that you want to accomplish, which will help build your confidence, of course. One thing that is not, all of those things have discipline components, of course, studying, practicing, all of those. One thing, it kind of doesn't, the discipline aspect doesn't readily present itself in this, though. To me, it reminds me of something actually that always reminds me of Baba, but that is to make sure that you try to be kind and that you try to be generous with yourself. Those things have a tremendous way of improving the way that you look at yourself. There's a quote that I could not find for some reason by Sun Tzu, but it talks about the general of the army. It says the general must be righteous. If he is not righteous, then he cannot be severe. I always tell Baba that always reminds me of him. I mean, warriors are upright men who are able to be funny, who are able to be relatable, who are able to accomplish things, and at the same time they are able to cut through BS and be very honest about things. And that's something that's really important as far as your self-confidence, as far as your discipline goes. Now, as far as the warrior mindset, what I was looking at was actually this book, which is the African Warrior's Bible, written by our beloved Baba Balagoon. I'm sorry, you can't see the whole thing, but available on Amazon, or Baba might also have some copies. I'm not sure.
That's Bele getting worked on the cover.
Is it?
Yeah.
It is Bele. I did not realize that. Let me show the picture again then. Since we don't have him here to get worked in person. That just shows you Baba is always on him, as he should be. All right. Um, excuse me. I had some. So what Baba talks about in the book as far as the warrior code and the warrior mindset is, if you want to be a warrior or profess to be a warrior, you need to have complete control of your mind and emotions, especially before, during, and after a violent attack. But we're not all necessarily living violent attacks each day. But what we can all do is make sure that we stay in control of our mind and our emotions, so that when those things do happen, in addition to some of the things that Bob was going to talk about, we're able to regain and retain control over ourselves. So that's definitely an important part of the warrior mindset. Um, Let's see, meditation, breathing, and proper practical training are three things that we want to do daily, so that we can make sure that we are part of, that we're developing our warrior mindset each day. Meditation doesn't necessarily have to be, what we think of as sitting cross-legged, holding our fingers a certain way, closing our eyes and chanting. Meditation can be something that you concentrate on when you're, say, like we talked about, exercising. If you go out and you're jogging and there's a certain thing that you want to concentrate on and think about, that can be your form of meditation. And that's a very practical way of meditating. I think that for a lot of our people, we don't necessarily want the airy fairy, meditation. That's not something that seems real. But you can go jogging, or you can walk, or you can even sit quietly and focus on the thing that you're trying to think about, and let that be your meditation. Also, with breathing, you want to work on slowing and controlling your breath when you're sparring, when you're walking, when you're jogging, any activity that you engage in. So a lot of times when you're maybe training, you might feel your heart beating really fast. Like running is a great example of that. But what you want to do is just try to stop your breathing as much as you can, like inhale and then pause and then exhale. And you'll find it, as long as your mind can allow you to do that, that in no time you will be in control of your breath. And that will allow you to go further. Not only will it allow you to go further when you're doing physical activity, or when you're doing physical exercise, but if you find yourself in, as Baba speaks of in the book, a violent encounter, then you can allow yourself to go further with that too, because your mind is not going all over the place. You're not, which tends to happen when you're not in control of your breath. You're not undercutting your actions with these negative thoughts about how you can't breathe. So controlling your breath is an extremely important thing that, I mean, we've talked about many times on the show. We had a whole show, I believe, on controlling the breath. It's a very important thing. So it's something that we want to start to practice each day when we're exercising. As far as proper and practical training, if you train properly and practically, you can handle a violent attack properly and practically. The way you train is the way you fight, which is something that Baba always tells us. It's also the way that you defend yourself and the way that you wage war. And those are all very different things. If you practice to prevail, which we talked about studying, and know that your techniques will work against violent attacks, you will be calm, cool, and collected, and you will prevail when a violent attack comes. So again, you want to be training. I think in most of our shows have had some element of training. We've definitely talked about exercise. It's not just something that we talk about on the show. We have class twice a week. It's available on Zoom if, there are ones who are interested who aren't able to come to class in Atlanta. But in addition to the classes that we have, training is something that if you're not able to do every day, it should be something that you're regularly practicing. because it whatever you learn, if you don't train it, it goes out of your mind very quickly. But if you do train it, it stays not only in your mind, but it stays in your hands and your arms and your muscles. And, when you see an attack coming a certain way, it becomes like a natural response to go about answering in this particular way because you trained it. So it's something that you're familiar with. You don't have that what Baba calls the old shit moment when kind of don't know what to do because you're not really familiar with what's coming against you. There is a couple. I'll read the few principles that Baba has in here, and then the last one I'll talk about the last one more at length. But he says, "Don't be a hypocrite." Um, Sometimes when we're going around being ego driven, we tell ourselves things to pump ourselves up that aren't necessarily true. And then we start to believe them. That's something that we want to avoid. You know, if you say something, you want to live up to it. Make your word your bond. Be someone that others can trust. This is something that we talked about as well. Concept and ideas are different than actual embodiment. And that is when we were talking about living by your principles. There's a lot of principles that sound really nice. Like I said, people talk about living by the golden rule and all these different things. That people talk about living by the laws of Ma'at. But are you really doing that? There are some great things in the Bible. There's some great things in a lot of the text that we are familiar with, and they sound great, but are we really living by them? Find the things that are really your principles, really your values, and live by those things. Always be honest. Don't lie unless you are unless it is in service of saving your life or saving the life of someone else. You always want to be as honest as you possibly can. And finally, and I'm going to read this section. This will be my final comment is actions equal character. Do your actions match the character you profess to have? Ask yourself this question with all actions you do and carry them out from this moment forward. That is what warriors do. What is your motivation? What is your desire? What is your intent? Examine who you think and say you are and see if it is in alignment with how you act. If you claim to be a warrior, for example, but you are an alcoholic, you are lying to yourself. Get right or get left. So just, make sure that you're being realistic as far as any goals that you set. If you want to build your confidence, if you want to build your discipline, and also if you want to make sure that you're building the warrior's mindset each day.
I say, very well done.
Thank
Now
you, Bob.
on that, if anybody is upset when I said if you're alcoholic, and you're saying you're a warrior, you're lying, get right or get left. Don't get upset with that. Alcohol, if you're under the influence of alcohol and your family is attacked, your ability to defend yourself and your family is stunted.
Right, diminished greatly.
And that specifically was aimed at a so-called martial arts master who's also an alcoholic. I was dealing with them, and they know it because certain mistakes. I was in class with a friend of mine. We were drinking before his class. It was at his school. His school was in his law, and I just went by to see him. We were talking. I didn't even think about his class. His regular class was on a different 2 days. He had people coming all the way from Michigan to Chicago to train with him. And after he's done, he does Wing Chun. And after he was done, we've been drinking, laughing, tripping. People come. I said, "Hey man, you got students?" He said, "Yeah, He said, "Maybe you can help me with them a little bit because I'm a little tipsy." I said, "Me too. I don't want to put my hands on your students." And so he
Wow.
decides. The alcohol tells him, let's work on, because they do Wing Chun, they do the that's why I mentioned he does Wing Chun. They do finger jabs, what they call Bill G, right? Uh, he says, I'm going to teach you all. I had a dream about how to do Bill G safely. Finger jab to the eye. So he's going next to their face. You know, his finger is going next to their face. It's touching the side of their face. I said, oh boy, this is bad. He's going next to him, 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 and he's drunk, so he doesn't realize his finger, his baby finger, is starting to open. He's going next to him, and he drove his baby finger into this white woman's eye. Okay, I had to say white woman because you know you hear the white woman's like, oh, it's all kinds of drama.
Wow.
A sister would have been, you know, upset, but a white woman, oh boy, we turned Karen Central up in there. But instead of being, I'm like, oh my God, are you okay? Instead of him doing that, he's off to the side cracking up.
Mm.
That cost him his school. In lawsuits, all kinds of, he's laughing, and oh man, it was bad. So, I drink a little bit, but every now and then, people can tell you I get drunk off of one beer, so I don't drink often. But maybe 3 times, 4 times a year, something like that. I'm not tripping on anybody what they're doing, but just know if you call yourself a warrior, I am telling you, you're at a deficit, and maybe you should call yourself something else. I'm a dude who can throw hands, and I'm alcoholic. That doesn't make you a warrior. That's responsible for your community. Okay.
Yeah, well.
I just wanted to get to that. Now Yapo said, we can protect ourselves. You can protect our families. Our families can protect your communities. Your communities can protect our people. Yeah. Now there are some people. Okay. Let's look at Conor McGregor. Conor McGregor can protect himself. He probably can protect his family. I would not have Conor McGregor protect my community. But hey, or some of these other MMA folks who I know, because warriors more than just being able to throw hands. That there's process in politics that goes. You have to have,
That's me. Excuse me.
You have to have politics, okay, to be effective in protecting your community. Otherwise, you could end up becoming the oppressor of your community.
Yeah, well.
So-called protecting them. Okay,
You become weaponized.
Right. While protecting them, you could become the police of the community. Okay. Overcoming fear. I'm going to deal with as far as the warrior's mindset. I want to start off first with saying that I'll go back briefly to. I remember I was talking about. I was asking, like in Ifa, Lukumi, that they'll say, Ogun's Eleke is black and green. And years ago, I've been practicing Ifa for close to 25 years, but years ago I was arguing, Ogun's Eleke is not black and green, it's black, because somebody had taught me that who didn't know what they were talking about. But I'm thinking I, know more because that person is very knowledgeable, I thought. So I'm teaching that. So I talked to this Babalao in Nigeria, who's a friend as well. Fadapo Eleboibon. His father is Ifayende Eleboibon, written a bunch of books and stuff. They're from Ogun family, long line of Ogun family, so they definitely know. And I asked him to get proof. And he said, Baba, by the question you asked, we know your level of knowledge by what you say, and by asking me, is Ogun's Eleke actually black? That lets me know you don't know much about Ogun either, because Ogun doesn't wear Eleke. Ogun wears iron chain on his on the students of Ogun, the children of Ogun wear iron chain on the wrist, ankle. It's not a sheshe, which means traditional Ipa practice for Ogun to wear leke, because Ogun deals with war, iron, and you don't want, and Ogun uses the sword. You don't want Ogun around your neck. That's symbolic. You don't want Ogun around your neck. Okay. So you say there is no leke for Ogun. So even asking that, you may be a level above those saying black and green, but you're still not where you need to be. And that was so definitive for me as a teacher, because I deal with that kind of thing all the time. Okay. So I wanted to preface that by saying, when we say overcoming fear, and you hear people teaching on how to overcome fear and how to, they are down here really with their knowledge. They may be higher than us, but they're not where they should be if they're teaching about overcoming this thing that they're calling fear. Words have meaning and they have power, and fear is a thing. It's a real thing, and it's a thing we need. Fear is a signal against great bodily harm, impending great bodily harm, or death. It's a signal that warns us. I'm walking down the street, 5 dudes coming up the street towards me. I get this feeling, oh shit, I need to cross the street. I can follow that signal. That's fear. I can follow that. Or I can keep going, wake up in the hospital, like many of us say, and we say, damn, I should listen to my first mind, what have you, okay? First mind or read. You can call it God, you can call it intuition, whatever you want to call it, okay? That signal is fear. That's natural to you. And it's what human beings have used to survive since human beings were on this earth, since we were first on this earth, okay? What we're talking about when people are saying overcoming fear, they're actually talking about worry. Fear is constructive, worry is destructive. Worry is the so-called fear that we manufacture. It's not a real signal. We're worried. I'm out. Oh, my wife cheating on me. I need to get home. She may be cheating on me. That's worry. That ain't fear. Because even if she was, there's no signal would come of great bodily harm or impending death, unless somebody whoever she messing around with planning to kill my ass. Y'all understand me?
Yeah, well.
I'm walking down the street, 5 dudes coming, but they're actually my students. I got bad eyes. I don't have my glasses on. I can't see. The signal doesn't come of fear, because I still know, my senses know who they are. But I'm saying, oh, 5 dudes coming. I may end up getting killed. Ooh, let me cross the street. Let me run. That's worry. I manufactured that. And that is destructive. It's bad for my health. It's bad for my mental state. And as far as somebody trying to protect their community, if you're giving in to worry, you're not a warrior. I always ask people, are you a warrior or are you a worrier? Because the two cannot exist at the same time. But a warrior has the signal of fear, or he is of no use to us, because he won't sense danger. Okay. That does so nobody is fearless, hopefully, unless you have suffered some type of damage to your head. Okay. But you can be worryless, and you should be. You shouldn't manufacture fear. If you see danger everywhere, you don't actually catch it when it's actually there. Okay.
That is such a great point, Baba.
Thank you. So we're dealing with overcoming worry. Okay. We can allow ourselves to be ruled by worry, or we can determine that we will rule ourselves through our own positive self worth combined with rational optimism. Rational optimism. Okay. I always want to be optimistic. I remember I was in the organization. Everybody that came around, well, they must be an agent. They must be an agent. Once again, so a real agent sit by you, you wouldn't even see them because you're talking about yeah, everybody's an agent. Then I noticed some people, everybody that was had a skill had to be an agent.
Mm.
Everybody that was highly intelligent had to be an agent. So you that the people pushing that, I started wondering, are they the agents? Because
Right.
they're pushing to be unskilled and unintelligent. But you see that today. Every rapper that's gotten big and famous, he got to be in the boule.
Yeah. Illuminati.
Yeah, he got to be Illuminati. He got to be boule. Come on now. So a
Mm.
person can't be great because they put in that work. They have the gifts and then they have the passion and they work that passion. And they work those gifts. They train those gifts. That can't be. It's got to be because they in boule. I
Yeah.
had people actually say that about me.
Oh wow.
My skill, I had to have learned that in the boule. So everybody in the boule is a martial arts master.
Yeah, like what are they doing in the boule? Maybe we need to check into that.
I'm like, damn, the boule is raw. The boule got all those skills and rap skills and all
Right.
that. I need to be part of that. Then I get all
Right.
like this. It's crazy. It's because they gave in, sacrifice to the devil.
Oh, right, right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I go do my sacrifice to the devil so I can, do my skills and teach y'all. It's ridiculous. So, but that,
Baba,
yes,
I'm sorry. I don't mean to interrupt you, but I just wanted to say something, something that you were talking about earlier about how, everyone is an agent and seeing fear everywhere. Like it really reminded me of when I was talking about the negative people who can be around you. It's like sometimes they just say those things just to say something, just so that they can be, if anything bad ever happens, they can say that they told you because they said bad stuff was going to happen all the time. But that's not the same as really, working on instinct, being discerning, looking at things and saying, hey, something is going on right there. Saying something bad is going to happen every single time it's possible for something bad to happen is not the same as being discerning.
exactly. And that's because a lot of people do that just talking because they didn't. People say because they ain't got a life. Well, everybody got a life. You just have to have a feeling of self worth. So whatever life you have, you accept it, you relish it, and you make the best of it. Okay. So, like I said, to overcome worry, you have to have positive self worth, and you have to have rational optimism. I I'm not worried about who is doing this and that to me, this and that, this and that. If I find out, then I defend myself. I defend my loved ones. That's all. Okay. But I cannot be mired in worry, then I cannot properly defend my loved ones. I'm prepared, so I don't have to worry. Usually, worry also comes from you're not prepared, like you were talking about. And so a person is ill prepared, they got to worry. So when COVID first came and we were quarantined, all of us in USPI We were ready because we were trained and taught to be ready. And so we were ready. We had our supplies. Whereas people I know were calling me panicking because they were not buying 50 rolls of tissue because they were not prepared. So that worry had them panicking. And panicking can kill them and kill you too, those around them.
All right. It's like drowning.
Yeah, my grandfather always talked about that. He was going to save a person who was drowning. They pulling him down. He knocked him out. Boom. And then he saved him because he said, otherwise, they'd have pulled me down. Okay. Now, this doesn't mean that we can eliminate worry. We can learn to deal with it because, sometimes it will get us all, especially when you have children. And first time your child's out, you let them go to the movies with the friends or what have you, and they're supposed to be back at 7, and you ain't heard from them. It's 7:45. Oh, you worrying. You worrying. My mother used to be like that. Oh, I ain't heard from Lisa. She's out now. I'm the baby. Oh, Lisa's out. Lisa, boom, boom. Lisa probably 19 or something.
Right.
Back home from college. At Lisa 19, so I'm 13. I said, Ma, if Lisa's out there, somebody could be killing her. Well, if they're killing her, we right here. We can't do nothing.
Right. Either way.
We can't do nothing. She could be dead out there or something. Yeah, well, if she is dead, then it's too late for us to do anything. We can't resurrect her, so no need to worry, Ma.
Right.
I
And
was
go through that every time your child goes out.
man. Whew, if I was like that, oh boy, with all the children I have, oh my goodness. And then my son, he'll just say because they know my policy is okay once you are 18 or you off to college because they all go to college early. I can't be there with them if they go to college out of town. So I got to trust that we've trained them well enough, they're mature enough. He'll say, I'm going over to my friend's house. I said, okay, I said, you didn't tell your mother where, because she worried. Dear, come on now. I said, you got to tell us at least, I'll be so-and-so. We're not making a child out of you, but we need to know in case something does happen, the last place you were, so that we know how to move.
Right.
We have certain information, okay? So that's not making a child out of you. I said, I'm not going to worry. And ain't no fear. But if I'm ever sitting here and I know he's something, and I get this strong feeling in my gut of impending harm or death, then I will call him and tell him what I feel, right? But I'm not going to be sitting in after that, oh Lord, he got to come home. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that, So you all do your best to not be overcome by worry. Know that that's destructive, and you manufactured that. If it doesn't make sense, you manufacture that. And if you don't have any power over it, don't worry about it. Don't worry. Okay. And the way you don't give in to worry is train. Train your children, train yourselves, train your loved ones when you're out here how to move, how to think. That's the whole purpose of this show. Yapa said Y2K. Yeah, that too. The whole world was worried. I went to a grocery store, Kroger. There's a big grocery store here in Atlanta. And then if you're from Chicago, Jewel. It's like the same thing. I went into the grocery store and they had 1 gallon of water left. And these bastards were selling that for $14. I bet you somebody bought that 99-cent bottle because of worry. Okay. I told my children, my wife, let's watch the news in China. Because China hit the year 2000 before we did. Hours before. Let's see if all their lights go out. Let's see if they go in the dark. If they still broadcasting, we know we good. And that's how I prove Y2K is bullshit. Because we're watching China celebrate their New Year. I said, well, not their New Year, the Chinese New Year, but the
Right.
Western New Year, whatever.
Mhm.
I said, boom, they're still on. Hello, China, they're still on. Let's check other places that are ahead of us. Everybody was still on. So at that point, everybody calmed down. They know, okay, because it's knowledge of a thing lets you know too. So I know they're fine. They didn't go into black. It's not going to go into black here. Okay. All right. Now, the real hero is the person who fights even though they're scared. Everybody don't get scared. It's overcoming being scared. But you shouldn't be worried. And when you're in the midst of a thing, doing idleness, that's more what makes you scared. I was watching Jared earlier today, Dr. Ball, and he was saying he's not interested in, I'm not interested in being scared. I'm not, and I feel you.
Yeah, boom.
It's gonna come at you, and then what he's talking about. I'm not interested in being worried. I'm not interested, because if I'm saying, something gonna get me, you just manufactured that. So
Mhm.
those movies force you to manufacture worry. I used to watch them before before I understood the difference between fear and worry. And I was always taught this, but my father he wasn't breaking down like that. He broke down through action. And when I realized what the actions of dealing with that teach you the difference between fear and worry, I then realized, because I was always chasing. I want to feel scared like everybody else. I want to feel scared like everyone who watched those movies.
Hmm.
I don't get scared. I want to feel. Sure, I do. I was just mistaking the word. Of course, I get scared. Probably in different ways than most. The thing that scares me most is my family being in a car accident and not dying. How long? Except we're all going to die. It's not dying, being paralyzed or something like that. And even for myself, oh my God, that is so for me, that scares. But I'm not going to sit home and never be in a car again.
Right.
I have to face that. Otherwise, I never will overcome it. So you have to face it. That's the number one way of facing what you're scared of. You can't face what you're worried of, though, because what you're worried of, you manufacture, doesn't exist. There's nothing to face. Just stop manufacturing shit that just isn't real. Your brain is powerful. Stop doing that to yourself. That's what you can't face that.
And
Don't
there's enough out there to face already.
right. That really will scare you. That really will scare you. And these bastards work on that. They throw the monkeypox and everything at us, right?
Mhm.
And whether they're real, I remember when COVID first came out, people said, I don't know if it's real. I remember we had that conversation. Said, I don't know if it's real. This may be some shit they just said. And I said, if it is made up, we still have to move like it's real because the rest of the world is.
Right.
So it doesn't matter. Of course, I think COVID is real. I know COVID is real. I mean, I've lost several people to it, right? A lot of martial artists. I'm one of the few martial artists at my level that's still alive. They were dropping like flies. That's a whole nother episode of why, just so you know. And a lot of that, well, really, it's in here is dealing with worry. Because I had it so bad. We went to Chicago. I didn't want my mama to know. So I'm masked up and everything, but my mom, get me out of the vehicle. My mother's in a wheelchair. So I'm helping get my mother out upstairs, pull her upstairs. I could barely breathe. I looked at my wife. She knew I got to go in the bathroom. Go in the bathroom, catch my breath so I can breathe. Okay. My wife is terrified for me. I told her, if you're gonna be worried like this, you can go back home. I'll stay. Not angry, just I can't have that energy around me, because if I start to give into it, I'll die.
You're wrong.
And I'm not gonna give into that energy. So didn't give into the energy. Got over it. It was one of the worst experiences of my life. And then later got Omicron, the worst experience of my life. Omicron is quick, you can breathe, but goddamn, it feel like you hit by a truck. But at that point, from my example in Chicago, my wife was like, "Well, we got to get up and do," and I love that. Can't give into it, so I could barely sit up. I'm hurting so bad, but I'm gonna sit up. Give it 20 minutes. Then 20 minutes became 30. Then it became an hour. Then it became 2 hours.
Incremental improvement.
Right. So just work on your stuff, y'all. It may take time, but work on it. Okay. Um, and the real hero is the person who fights even though they are scared. The person that's telling you they're not scared ever. It may be some people. I'm like that. It's not many things that scare you once you accept death. That you can die, but you're not gonna die going down without fighting hard. And people like that usually don't die in a fight. It's those who are worried who die in a fight. Okay.
So then, I'm sorry, I just wanted to, so then overcoming, it's not so much overcoming your fear that is a part of being a warrior, but it is working with that fear,
What
using that fear
your worry, your worry.
and overcoming the worry.
Yeah, we want to change the narrative of that. Fear, you don't overcome that. You want to have that. That's your signal. But you want to overcome that worry, and you want to work it. Yes, you overcome it by working through it. And after you see, okay, I worked through it, you don't have to worry about that thing again. When I was in airborne school, you jumping out of a plane, people were terrified. People holding on, refusing. I don't know why they came to airborne school refusing. I guess they didn't get faced with the reality of what was about to happen. Jump master push them out. Now, you ain't got time to be scared now. So at first, you up, and I should tell people with me, you're scared of falling out the plane, right? Jump master gonna push you out the plane, so no need to be scared. You can't be scared of being pushed out. Now what you're scared of? Hitting the ground? When you hit the ground, you ain't gonna be scared of hitting the ground. And if you hit the ground wrong, well, you ain't scared of nothing no more. So no need to worry. But when you see that ground coming down at you in seconds, you're gonna be scared. You got to overcome it because you don't have a choice. Okay. Well, people coming at us to fight us. It's me and you, Ominiki, and it's 7 people coming to fight us. And they looking like they ready for business. And we ain't got nowhere we can run. We ain't got time to worry. Are they gonna kill us? We ain't got time to worry. They gonna break our arm. No. I'm gonna make them feel they're gonna get their arm broken. I want to turn that to them. Where we were seemingly the victims, I want to change that around quick. That's the mindset of that when you're dealing with worry. Person attacks you, when they coming at you hard, you come right at them harder. You're pumped, they coming. If you don't do anything, inaction will make you start worrying. What you worry? They're gonna hit me in the mouth. Yeah, they're gonna hit you in the mouth. They get a chance to. No need to worry about that one. They're gonna slam me. Yeah, if you let them pick you up, they're gonna probably slam you. No need to worry about it. You gotta do something. So if they're coming at you, you come at them harder. On Monique and all my other students know that's how we train. Person coming at you, you at them. Now, let's see where the mind goes now. I've had many times. Whoa! Cop pulls me over. Sir, it's 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning. I went to the movies, then to the drive-in. Me and my wife had a disagreement. I went to the drive-in. I'm driving home. I got all kinds of training guns, all kinds of weapons in there. And he pulled me over. I'm like, oh shit. It's 2:30 in the morning on a dark street by ourselves. I'm not worried. Most of the guy he can do. I'm being smart. Had my hands up here, but I'm ready to do what I need to do. Even if my hands on the steering wheel, he looks, flashes the light, and I look at him. I see his eyes big as saucers, and I know he's worried. And a lot of times they'll be worried, and that's what gets them, that makes them attack us. So we got to move smart. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
He said, "Why you have all those guns there?" I said, "Oh, officer, I train people how to shoot, how to disarm guns, those kind of things. You train. Have a nice night." He let me drive off. Had it been during the middle of the day and on a busier street, I knew I'd have a problem.
And that is the answer to one of the brothers just asked, are there times when we should seek to de-escalate? Not saying you're wrong, just a question. That's
yes.
Ayapa Yapa. Excuse me if I'm pronouncing it wrong.
Yes. Number one, my mistake was having all those guns there. It should have been in the trunk. It should have been in the trunk, except for the one to defend myself. But the training guns and all that wasn't going to do me no good no way. It should have just been in the trunk. I've been driving around with them all day. We had done some workshop or something. So, yes, there are times when you should de-escalate. I'm not ever going to tell you to fight the police. I will tell you, though, don't die for nothing except for a cause for your family, your people, something that's meaningful. I ain't talking about no bullshit cause because we want more vegan burgers, because we want girls.
Hey.
Well, hamburgers, or we want girls with big booties working at the church, greeting us at the church. I mean, that shit, that's not a cause.
Right.
So, there are times. I've noticed that you can't always tell who will stand when the bullets start flying. Yes. Okay. So when the bullets start flying, you can't. But at least you can know who gonna even pop bullets. Okay. From training for years with my students, I can pretty much tell when stuff is gonna go on. But I have a student that you think they hardcore as hell. But when I got faced with this mug, who a giant basically, who looked deadly, that person beat their feet to the car while I dealt with that person.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a surprise, but it's good to know when the bullets ain't flying. It's just that kind of situation. So you won't fully know, but at least know. And that can be trained out of a person. Okay, that can be trained out of a person. Believe that. People have sent their students to me, say that my student is meek. Shooting clients, where it becomes. They're meek. First thing I do, we got to throw hands from close at each other. And as they get bolder, getting hands thrown at them, somebody's really going to hit them, then they become better shooters. They're not flinching as much. And yet, Jen said, we're not dying for big booties and vegan burgers. Exactly. Exactly. In most cases. So, all right. So,
Right.
let me see. Hush, cousin. LOL. All right. So, um, I'm gonna do a little bit more with some steps for breaking through paralyzing worry, because worry can paralyze you. You don't do nothing. You don't move. Okay. Uh, Decide what you worry most. Okay, what you worry about most: being injured, being controlled by a criminal. Accepting injury as the price we pay to escape violence is crucial. So, somebody is got you in their car, or trying to pull you into their car. Okay, people will don't fight as much; they just get thrown into the car. Fight, because if they take you to another location, your chances of survival are very low. So, would you rather be injured? Well, he may hit me in my mouth. He may scratch my face. What? Okay. But if he takes you to another location, your chances of survival, meaning living, are low. So I take the chance on getting on the risk of getting hurt. If somebody
Hmm.
wants to knuckle up with me and they big, student of mine says, what about a person if they 6'8", 300 pounds and they're a boxer? Not a boxer. Boxer. That is it better than a boxer. If they're a boxer, what would you do? I'm not. I do what I gotta do. Person asked, what if it was Hulk Hogan attacking you? I said, boy, he'll be whole Hogan, because I stick that dude so full of holes. So you don't worry about that stuff. We love to do a lot of that. What if it was so and so? What if you Mike Tyson? What if ifs and buts were candies and nuts every day every Christmas? I don't get into those worry scenarios. If I face Mike Tyson on the street, he'd be like Hulk Hogan. Simple. That doesn't that don't scare me because they named Mike Tyson. Would I get in the ring with Mike Tyson? Hell no. The rules. Now, hell no. Unless I can throw and knee, but boxing, that'd be stupid. But if Mike Tyson tried to box me on the street, he'd be stupid because Mike Tyson gets stabbed, gets shot. That don't worry me. And it
Right.
worry you. You do what you got to do to survive. You got to get on with your family. And if you with your family, you definitely got to up the ante. Okay. So don't that's number one. Decide what you got to worry about most. You got to worry about living. You got to worry about getting your arm broke by this dude snatching you in the car. I might get my finger slammed. Oh, okay.
I was thinking too, Bobby, in a situation like that, if you're fighting them, if they're driving you, I mean, you might have to cause an accident.
Right.
And that could
Exactly.
be a worry, that, well, I don't want to get it, but you might die in an accident,
You might
if
get an accident.
you,
You gonna die if they take you somewhere.
right, if they get you where they're trying to get you to.
Exactly.
Hmm.
Number two, the mindset against your worries can be fought by visualizing how you will escape or how you will fight, or visualize that.
Nice.
That focuses you on winning, escaping, whatever, instead of obeying, submitting, getting beat up. Visualize winning. Okay. And you may see in that how you have to win against this person. Visualize they talking, I snap taste out the mouth, I do this and this, and you're visualizing what you have to do to defend yourself, and that may be the exact thing you need to defend yourself. You say, "Oh shit, I see such and such," in analyzing the situation. Um, Let's see here. Think you want to learn how to breathe. Monique, you mentioned that. I'm big on that. Um, Learned that through martial arts and the military. You do the breath, breathe in for 4, hold for 4, breathe out for 4. That's to stop anxiety. That's to stop worry. It deals with all of that. We never had to not go on the mission. We're in the mission and go into a certain area to do what I need to do. Breathe in for 4, hold for 4, breathe out for 4. You do that 4 times or however many times until you calm that anxiety, and then you're able to go do what you need to do. Okay? Nearly Fuller's book says the 3 F's when being stopped by police: don't fight, don't flee, and don't fuss. We'll get to that later. Don't fight, don't flee, and don't fuss. Most times, sometimes your ass better run. You should have ran before you even start dealing with the police.
Right.
Because your ass took off. But anyway, whenever I walk into a room, the first things I look for are exits and ways out. Not exactly the same thing, but kind of. Yeah. Yes. You never know when a window will become a door. Boom. Yes. Exactly. Um, so we know to breathe properly. And I think I'll stop right there because I got so much stuff. Um, well, I want to give you this drill first. Focusing against worry. Okay. You channel your focus.
Excuse me, Baba.
Uh,
I have to step away for a second.
okay. So first, go into a dark room. I wish Omni had used that, but that's okay. I know how to fight the thing now. I didn't realize. Okay, people say the headphones. I understand. Go into a dark room. Uh, Close the windows and doors. All the lights on. Close your eyes. Stand. Stand relaxed. Breathe slowly in through your nose, deep into your belly. So don't, when you breathe in, don't let your chest rise. Let your belly rise. Okay. You breathe in deep. Visualize tension leaving your body as you exhale. I do this with my eyes open because I've used it on during certain crucial times. But you can train with it first with your eyes closed, and you can learn to do this with your eyes open. So you breathe in deep, you visualizing the tension leaving your body as you exhale. Okay. And the power of nature entering your body as you inhale. That's the wind, the rain, whatever, the power of that entering your body as you inhale. Imagine flooding every cell of your body with energy. Do this as you train at home for 5 minutes. You may have to do that out there for 30 seconds, a minute. Okay? But train it. You can train it every day. While you sitting, listening to somebody else or whatever. While you was doing that, I was doing it actually. While she was speaking to you. So you breathe in, pulling in nature. Breathe out, all the tension is leaving your body. Okay? Now imagine you do this at home, not there. You just imagine the most depraved criminal you can think of. Imagine this most horrendous person. You may look like Bill Gates or somebody. I don't know. I'm just saying. Real quick, name of my book was Ori, the African Warrior's Mindset. ORI. Ori. Okay. The African Warrior's Mindset. So you breathe in, breathe out, and then as you're doing that, now you imagine the most depraved criminal. Okay. He's planning to torture you, kill you, whatever. And you gotta get out the way. Visualize the dark, tragic future this criminal could create. pain of your family, all of that you can do. From the pit of your gut, drive fire into your feet, and then let it roar back up to your legs, hip, back, chest, shoulders, and then out your hands and mouth in the loudest, deepest heart you can give out. And when you do that, you're burning his ass up. You're burning his ass up. And that thing you're burning up, that's your word. The most depraved thing you fear that you have worry of, you worry, not fear, you worry. Thing that can do so much harm, you can do all this. You bring that fire up through your body and you let it out and you set its ass on fire. You immolate it, you burn it up, then it trickles away as ash. It billows away. You've defeated that worry. As you begin to do that, now you can take specific worries. I'm worrying about so and so. I'm worrying about how am I doing at this job? How you worrying about that? Not the job you burning up. The worry that you're not doing well. Burn it up. But first, bring in nature to help you because it is the forces of nature that will help you in that fight. And you breathe out and relax because you're letting out all the toxins, all the toxicity in your life, all of that out. And then you breathe in, you picture that thing, that heinous, horrendous thing. Bring the fire up through your feet, through your legs, through your belly, through your chest, through your arms, and then let it out. And I'm just going like that, so I'm not. But you can be as loud as you want. Wherever you need to burn it up, burn it up. Okay. Trust me on that. It works. Burn away the things that you worry about. And then let me know how you do with it. Calvin Hobbins says, one more point. When encountering the police, if you run, where are you running to? Survival is the goal. Yes, absolutely, Calvin. Yeah. When I run, I know where I'm running to. Also, for you all know, when you run, you don't tell nobody where you're running to, but you better know where you're running to. Okay. Or you can tell your closest comrades because they should be running there with you. Survival is definitely the goal. I said if you run before the police get to you, where you encounter. If the police are around you, I'm not saying run. I am saying though, survive, go home in any way you have to. Any way you have to. Survive and go home in any encounter. Survive and go home in any encounter. Protect your community so they survive in any encounter.
Yeah, bro.
And we could take that the way we want to take it, or don't take it. But
And also,
you
I was
want to
just
know what I really feel about that? Another book. When you asked about my book, Eugene, another book is Ogunye, Protecting the African Community. All right. So
I wanted to add something, Baba, on developing the warrior's mindset, along with what you're saying, as far as the running thing and where you're gonna run to and all of that. And I not saying that the brother is telling us to broadcast or anything like that necessarily, but that's part of the warrior's mindset as well. That you keep these things close. It shouldn't be something that you're putting out on social media. I actually read this as a part of the chapter that I was reading in the African Warriors Bible. It talks about if someone goes and shoots up a church and you're on Facebook talking about how you're going to kill that person, or other things happen, and you're just putting out there on these different social media platforms basically for attention, you know really, but you're out there saying all what you're going to do. That's not a part of the warrior's mindset there. These are things that you maybe discuss with people who are close to you, maybe, but it's not something that we're putting out there. And I only mention it because it's so prevalent now. It's especially, we have Facebook, all these other platforms at our fingertips, and people are constantly putting on their, all what they'll do, their address, all of that stuff.
I
That's
mean,
not a part of being a warrior.
even so, people think it's very warrior like, uh, showing themselves with their guns. And, there was a time a few years ago when people would show themselves with guns. People like, "Oh fool!" People say, "Oh fool!" Now you get a dude jacked up on steroids. He got a big Rick Ross beard. He holds a AR-15, and we say that dude is ready to protect the community. That dude right there has made himself if he's not something else, he's made himself a target uh, of the state.
Yeah, well.
If I say, okay, well, I can teach you how to shoot. I don't have to show myself shooting on air. I'm not going to make that. You can come to me and learn. And if you don't like what I do, then don't deal with me no more. But there's no way in the world you're going to get me with a gun in my hand like that, just showing off. I mean, me and Kalani were on this panel with this other person. And, and if he knows about it, I don't give a damn. If I can remember his name, I say his name. He's so insignificant to me, I can't remember his name, but he was, influence. If you don't even see him now, y'all better be careful watching that shit too. Maybe his mission's over. Or he's moving on to a new mission. Be very careful. I'm saying I don't go out there with firearms in my hand. You're not gonna see that. And I'm not, if that's how you're making your living, make your living. I'm not doing it. Well, I was making that statement. He goes, gets up, makes sure walking off, comes back with a rifle. And he's like this, stroking making up for something else. I love my gun. I love my gun. If people have seen it, they know who I'm talking about. And he's an attorney talking like that. Also, don't get him as your attorney talking like that either. I love my gun. I get these guns because I love to shoot and I'm ready. I love my gun because she protect me and my family. Get your ass out of here, dummy. That's what's going in my head. Get your ass out of here, dummy. That's in my mind. I almost said it, but because I'm on somebody else's thing who invited that person and they respect them, I was careful in what I said.
Right.
Because a few years ago, I wouldn't have cared. I just shut him down with that foolishness and shown you that he's not this tough dude. So he got the rifles. He raises cane corsos because they the big dogs. All of that is clothing for the worry that he really got in him. And I know it because I ain't got to show you. I don't have to show you my dog. First of all, she gets on my nerve when you hear her barking. But I gotta show you how big she is. I don't have to show you how many pistols, rifles, and job I got. If we do a thing on a knife, okay, I bring out 1 or 2 knives. I don't have to show you my knife collection. I posted online one time and said, shit, I shouldn't have done that. A thing we were doing SKG stick knife gun workshop, and I posted my gun and knife collection, and people jumping on there naming the guns I had, and I took that shit down. And that's what really, Because I'm like, I ain't even holding the gun. I'm just posting my collection. People, oh, I see you got so and so. I said, oh, shit.
Catalog.
I'm thinking they just like the thing and like, okay,
Hmm.
that's a nice collection, and I'm gonna come to the workshop. Nah, must they at least mentally cataloging.
Right.
Wrong person could do that. Okay.
We got a question. And
Yeah.
I also thank you, Eugene Mason and Smooth Rebel, who both
Oh,
gave donations.
thank
But
y'all.
Smooth Rebel had a question for you, Baba. How
Mhm.
would you defend yourself while walking with the traffic behind you against someone who jumps out of a car from the passenger side with a gun pointing at you to get in the car? I
Okay.
guess that's.
Right. Okay. Well, I'll say, so you're walking with the traffic behind you. So you're on the same side. The traffic's like this. I assume you're on the sidewalk. In Atlanta, we hardly have sidewalks, so you may be in
Right.
the street on the side. Somebody jumps out of the car. There was some steps failed. Number one, to eliminate. I tried not to walk on the same side with the traffic's behind me like that. I try to walk. So if the traffic's going this way, traffic. I try to. If it's going two ways, I mean, shit. No matter what, if I'm going this way, traffic's going like this on that side of the street. I try to walk on that side of the street that way. That means so the traffic is coming
You
towards
face the traffic, face the oncoming
right,
traffic.
right, so I can see better.
Right. That's what you supposed to use. Well, you used to do that on a bike. Now they changed it, but that used to be the way when you rode a bike, you rode against traffic.
Yeah, well, you should walk against traffic so you can see. If somebody jumps out of the passenger side with a gun and you didn't see him and they behind you, at that point you're forced to defend yourself. So how would you defend yourself? Um, we're gonna have to do another gun. I think we did a gun episode. We have to do another one where we specifically with that because it really depends on his position to my position. What I would do if he catches me on my flank, though, I got a problem because I turn around, I'm gonna get shot. So that's highly problematic right there. But if he's pointing at me to get in the car, at some point I have to face him. If he wants me in the car, he ain't just shooting me. Now, if somebody jumps out just want to shoot me, I can get shot like that. But if they're telling me to get in the car, I have a chance to fight. And based on where it's at, and maybe the next episode when Belay comes back, we were going to do knife, but maybe we would do knife and gun. So I can show those things, show what you would do. But let me say clearly, do whatever you have to do, of course, because don't get in that car.
Yeah, Bo.
If they putting a gun on you to get in the car, that's very serious. And that's I I can't say it don't happen to men, but yeah, I mean they probably planning to kill your ass. You must owe somebody some money or something. But men do that. Spouses and guys do that to women. Get your ass in the car. Run out here on the street, so and so. They do that. I've known about that happening. Uh,
Mhm.
and to be honest, if somebody said, "Well, what should the woman do?" If your husband, first of all, if my wife, we've had disagreement, she walking down the street. Okay, I see her when she get home. Drink me a little some tea, chill out, watch some TV or something, do some writing. I'm not chasing her up the street because what's that gonna do? Right? Bring embarrassment, maybe bring harm to her or me. I don't want that, right? But if I was, she gets out the car, we mad. This would really be odd, but we don't get in no arguments like that. But she jumps out the car and she walking. I'm not, dude, you okay? That's about all. But jumping out the car, get your ass in the car. If that happens to you all, whether you got a gun, trying to grab you, make you get in, whatever, don't get in the car. Because what good is coming out of it? You're gonna get in the car now, y'all have peace as y'all drive home. Don't get in the car. Sometimes you need to cool off.
I was gonna say that's really an escalation, just like you were talking about. I'll see her when she gets home. That's the it can it's a more dramatic type situation, or at least it can be interpreted more dramatically. But what you're saying is really a de-escalation. If
Right.
she's voluntarily walking, then
Yeah, she
you
better
need
get
to
that
just
off. Well,
separate.
because I mean, shit. Some people think, well, we just talk it out, but that rarely goes the way you think it's gonna go. When the argument going on, I remember I told my wife one time we had an argument, and it was just hilarious. Really, we argue about like we have argued something about some stupid like are those real locks in a person's head or fake? We argue shit like that. We ain't having no, But we had disagreement one time, and I said, and this is years ago, like as we, longer, a long way, arguments and stuff. I'm 54 years old. I ain't got time for that shit anyway. Oh, by the way, my wife's pregnant. So I'm 53 old. My sister was cracking up about that. I'm a 54-year-old man, baby. My baby gonna be younger than all my grandbabies. So that's a well, aunt.
Congratulations, Baba and Iya.
Thank you so much.
It's a
So,
beautiful thing.
uh, I said to her one time, I said, dude, if somebody we have an argument, somebody kicking the door, I'm protecting the family. Fuck the argument, right? And she said, yeah, I'm with you on that too. Then I said, but we could be in the middle of argument, and then my energy just say kiss you, I kiss you. Would you do that? She said, no, we had an argument. I don't want to kiss you. And I was crying laughing. Like, what? You want to kiss me? She said, we have an argument. No. And you don't want to kiss me either. Talking about you just, look at me and just kiss me. She said, that ain't never happened. I said, well, next time we have an argument, I'm just going to stop and kiss you.
That sounds like a movie.
Right, exactly. That's only happened. And you mad about something.
Right.
You ain't just stopping, but if somebody kicked in the door, well, that's bigger than that shit now. And if you have an argument bigger than if somebody kicks in the door, you say, well, you kill that bitch. You shouldn't be, y'all shouldn't be together.
Right.
I mean, damn. Never you should be that angry with somebody. So Yapo said, may as well fight right there. Yeah, they trying to get you in the car with a gun. I mean, damn, because if someone would shoot you on the spot, they would definitely shoot you if they take you someplace remote. Bingo. Yes. Fight for your life. Fight to go home. Like I said, fight. Thanks for your explanation, Baba. Oh, yes, sir. Smooth rebel. Dexter Pagans, a great topic discussing information. Salute, Baba and Omaniki. Thank you, Doc.
Greetings, Doc.
Yeah, that's Doc Pagans. He does the Stop the Bleed classes and other uh, first aid classes and things of that nature. You can get with Doc Pagans on that. Okay. Omaniki, you ready to do your other part? You got anything else to talk on?
I don't. I did my entire part. I can there I noticed there were some things in the book that I didn't necessarily mention that I could go back over. Oh, you know what? There is one thing that I left out, and I've mentioned it many times before.
Mm-hmm.
And it's something that people don't like to do, but it's definitely something that can help you build some mental discipline, and that is fasting.
Yeah.
In whatever would be fasting for you. I know that, a lot of times we think about just not eating anything or just drinking water, and those things are fasting. I think they're more on the extreme end of the spectrum. But can you stop eating after 7 p.m.? Can you not eat in the morning? Can you drink water until noon? Like, because those are forms of fasting as well. And those are little things that you can accomplish each day that will build within you, build that confidence within you, build that discipline within you.
And
So,
for
yeah,
Black August,
again,
we're supposed to be doing that anyway.
right, exactly.
to commemorate,
Yeah.
exercise, fast, meditate, study. Okay, and study, of course, that's besides studying to protect yourself physically, is reading, all of that. Somebody said earlier about the brain having muscle memory. No, the brain's not a muscle. The brain is memory. The brain is the house, the main house, the big house of memory. But your whole body, and it's really, it has memory. Okay. So when we talk about muscle memory, when a person trains, if I teach you how to do a hammer fist, elbow, hammer fist, elbow, hammer fist, elbow, you do that over and over, over and over, over and over, over and over, and you're doing it on the person. You know when to. Okay, different scenarios. Boom. Hammer fist to the neck, elbow to the face. Hammer fist to the body, elbow to the body. Hammer fist to the body, elbow to the face. You learn how to use it in different ways. That's muscle memory. Just remember how to move that way. But what's driving that? It's my brain sending signals through my spine and out through my nervous system, so I can do that. So we're actually training our nervous system when we say muscle memory. We're training, as we work, as we do different things, we're training our nervous system. So when people train and say, I can't get this, as far as for martial training, just so you know, and anything in life, actually, your nervous system isn't used to it. That's all. So we have to work the nervous system to do it. That's all. So that the nervous system has to get used. And if your nervous system isn't used to doing a thing, you call that thing, when you try to do that thing, being nervous. Okay? Because you know there's a deficit in your nervous system. So you just have to work your nervous system. That's all. Whatever it is that you want to do. That's why we say we cut down a tree by cutting down a tree. If you learn to cut down a tree, I want to cut this tree down. Well, cut it down. Now your nervous system is learning. So that thing you call muscle memory, you learn to cut down the tree.
Right.
You train your brain that way. How do I stand against an incredible force? You have to train your nervous system.
Yeah, bro.
Because against this stronger, bigger person, you say, shit, I want to run. Because that's all your nervous system is trained to do. You can train to do other things. You really can. If you know how to hide real good, when the dude is abusive dude coming in, and you hide, or you know how to cook them that food real good, you train your nervous system to act a certain way. And you train it to accept. When he does this, raise that fist, you go and cook that food up.
Mm.
You can train yourself just like you cooking up the food to boil that water and lift that pan and toss it on his ass. You can train your nervous system to do different things that aren't so different from what you're already doing.
Yeah, bro.
I was going to deal with the killer instinct. That's really a whole thing by itself. I want to say this about killer instinct. Don't look funny at the word killer. Don't tell me Jojo Becky in his book so-and-so says we should never kill. Get out of here. We should not murder. Okay. Murder is killing of the innocent. Killing is taking a life. There's no full stop. There's no other definition after it. It's taking a life. Now, within that, it can determine whether you're killing. So if somebody, that kicking the door scenario in my house comes in, I'm not having a conversation with them or asking them why they're in my house.
Right.
They're leaving here.
Mm-hmm.
Either from the assault that I put on them out the door, or out the door in an ambulance, or floating on up to whatever. they believe in. Like I said before, you're going to go to sleep, you're going to wake up in heaven. That's killing. But if I go across the street and kick in the door and kill the people across the street, that's murder. That's killing the innocent. I'm not saying they're innocent. But okay, I kick in the door. They've done nothing to me. They're innocent as far as to my life, and I killed them. That's murder. But I know they took in a little girl over there that was screaming, kicking. They white, and they took in this black girl. She's screaming and kicking, trying to get away, and they cover her mouth, and they take her in there. I kick in the door, and I kill them. That's killing, because I saved her life. Unless she was they good and just acting bad. Now I screwed up. but in my mind, so that's killing if I'm saving an innocent or if I'm protecting myself. But if I am killing an innocent, so-called, that's murder. You say, well, what if they kidnap somebody before? When you kick in, they door across the street and kill them. Is that murder? I didn't know they kidnapped nobody before. I'm just going over it because I had a bad day, so I'm kicking in their door and killing some folks because they white and I don't like white folks, so I'm killing some folks. That's murder, and that is wrong. There's no excusing that, and that is what's mainly been done to us: murder. It's rare that we have committed something that warrants our death when our lives are taken. Okay, and that's by anybody. It's rare that we've done something to warrant our death. Okay, so when people say, well, what about the military when they go over and they kill innocent? Is that murder? Absolutely. But when two combatants are fighting each other and they're killing, neither side is innocent. Even you say, well, they're manipulated by the state. Yes, but they picked up that gun. They know they're representing the state.
And they're still willingly engaging in that particular
Exactly.
yeah. So
and people get mad. If somebody had killed me when I was in war, they killed me. They didn't murder me. They didn't murder me. But murder happens a lot of times when sisters sisters aren't in combat arms, but sister is a medic or something. She taking care of a dude who's infantry out there, and, got his arm hurt, and in the hospital he's digging on her. And she said no. She goes back to her barracks. He goes, sneaks in there and rapes her and takes her life. That happens a lot. Murder happens when you're doing it to your own side. That's why anybody, somebody asked me, would I recommend people go to the military now? Hell no. Hell no. No. I knew a dude, an officer, who was raping young girls from a certain country. Okay? He was raping them. And somebody else I knew tossed that officer for raping those girls out a window. The officer who was raping and killing the girls, that's murder. That good Samaritan who threw that officer out the window, I see that as killing. In my mind, you can disagree with me, but hey, because he wasn't no innocent, and he was doing a lot of harm to people. And that person, hey, hopefully he does well in life. He's kind of older now, but hopefully
he continues to do well.
Right, he continues to do well for the days. All right.
So, Baba, can I ask something?
Yes.
So would you say, like when I talked about earlier, and you talked about this as well, living according to your principles, that is basically you, as far as killing versus murder and honing your killer instinct, that's related to you living by your principles or living a principled life.
Yes. So you can't one, never train somebody to take somebody's life without the politics with it. Okay. So, and if you train them with the politics, then the principles are there.
Yeah, Bob.
So, we've had discussions about when you should take somebody like in class, right? For me, that's more, I don't say more, that's as important as the techniques you're learning. I would be remiss to teach you how to choke somebody out, shoot someone effectively, stab someone effectively if I don't teach you when you should do these things or where you should do these. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
A
Bob.
lot of people take that the wrong and they'll say, well, would you do that against the police? For some reason, police always get mentioned in these kind of things because we worry about the police. And we shouldn't worry about the police. We should be wary of the police for sure, because they're very dangerous to our lives and livelihood, right? But when I'm asked, so we teach the politics of when you should protect yourself, when, where, against who, for whom. So those things I learned, and I can only deal with it so much here. I can deal with it a lot in person, or if we're online in class, I can be a lot freer in what I say. But I think y'all can read between certain lines.
Yeah, Bob.
So context and situations matter. Yes, I'm gonna. Maybe I'll do it next week. Read this letter to you all, and I read this at workshops I do, and people like, okay, they read the letter. I say, now picture this person, and they're like, oh, wicked ass stalker, blah blah blah. I said, now picture that letter being written by so and so, and they like, oh my god, it changes the whole thing based on the context. The content is changed based on the context. Context is more important in your survival than content. You're standing on a bus stop at 10 at night because you just got off work. Guy comes over, standing next to you. Nice guy. Look like he just got off work too. Got on a suit, and, nice teeth and well groomed, and smell nice. And you're sitting there. You got all these bags. And he said, "Where are you going?" You said, "Where are we going? Where are we going tonight?" He said, "Well, I'm going home." So and so. Where we living at? Where we live? You hear those apartments over there? You said, "Well, actually, I live over there." One, you're telling too much now. He got you. And he's using we.
Right.
Okay. So
There's a play on desperation.
he's forcing you all to be a group. Why does he do that? That's called forced teaming, because it's hard for you to say no to somebody you feel is part of your team. And so now he got you talking and saying, I think I saw you. You live over there, right? And I don't live over there. He pointed to these old whack ass cruddy apartments. He did it on purpose. That's called stereotyping. And you say, no, I live over there in that neighborhood. You say, I'm smart. I ain't gonna tell them how. I live in that neighborhood. Oh, that's an expensive neighborhood there. Oh, you living well there too. How much they paying you where you work at? But they pay me, pretty good. But you can afford to live over there with that side. Well, my roommate too. So you got a roommate, or he wants to. You got a husband or whatever. All those kind of things. So how do you defeat that? You don't tell them shit.
Exactly.
It's the context. It's at night. You're on a bus stop and you don't know him. So you don't tell him shit. The context is more important. It tells you how you act. And even in the morning, you don't tell him shit. Because the context is still is you are a lone individual, and this person is trying to get your information. Me, my wife, my daughter, we leaving out yesterday to walk. take our walk. Lady walking up the street. All right, you all new to the neighborhood? I said, no, we've been there for a while. We just bought a new house. So we living somewhere else. We still got our old house, right? So I can use it. I can use different addresses. You can't afford that, then don't even worry about that kind of stuff. But I said, oh, we've been there for a while. I'm not telling this person yet we just moved here. I tell y'all because I don't mind. Y'all don't even know where I'm at. so, so she says, oh, I've lived here all my life. Okay. That's nice. You know, I live right there. Now she ain't. I live. I lived here, but we moved. My mother lives right down the street. Right down the street, ain't telling me nothing. She ain't telling me nothing. But then she says, so, what do you all do? I said, we live. And then she looks, no, okay, he ain't telling me nothing. And the daughter's ready. She got two girls with they ready to go. Like, this man ain't telling her nothing. She's still trying to get stuff. I looked at my wife. I said, Karen persistent, ain't she? Karen was persistent. So she asked me, she said, well, it's good to meet you. I said, yeah, good to meet you. We ain't met each other. She didn't give me her name. I ain't give her mine.
Right.
And I know everybody that lives around here is police or judges. I'm like, that's because we moved here because the energy was so peaceful. I said, oh, that's why it's so peaceful, because they put people in the ground who ain't fitting in with their program. So we're going to just be quiet over here. Already had an encounter on our dock. We have a dock. People live across it. They have a dock. It's white folks over the cop. He comes over to our dock on our property. I said, oh, no. So I'm looking at him. I want to peed off. My wife comes in. She said, what's not? I said, who's on the property? My wife said, well, I'm going to go say something. So I'm surprised you didn't say nothing. I said, you know me. I said, I'm in one of those moods where I got time today and I don't want to cause no issues where we're targeted by all these police live around here, right? I said, but since you're going out there, might as well. So we go. And so she says, well, I'll say something to him, you know. I said, okay. Well, she said, well, you know, you can't be on here. If something happens, you fall and you're on our dock, it can cause problems. You know, she did the smart thing like that. I just want to say, get the fuck off our property.
Right.
You didn't even ask to be here. So he said, okay, we're walking off. And he started talking. So I said, what? And my wife grabbed my arm. Because my energy was right there. Like, goddamn police, get your ass out. So I said, what? And he said, you know, me and my friends, we're always over here. My son. I said, okay, that doesn't make it where that's okay to be here. So now you, your friend, your son, don't come over here anymore. Use your dock. I said, and if I went over to your dock without your permission, because I don't know you, I would have a problem, correct?
Right.
He said, all right, you know, he reeled his job in and left, because they be out there fishing. Reeled his job in and left.
Which makes perfect sense. And he knew that before he came over there.
Of course.
Maybe he knew the neighbor before, but he don't know you to
Right.
just come over. Yeah.
And he know with new, because he had talked with my wife. You know, trying to get information. Your husband, he police, you know, around his, most of us are police around here and judges. He said, oh, no. I said, shit. He probably think, oh, shit, this nigga a judge? I ain't either one of them. But, you know, I said, well, did you hear? She was like, I don't know. So then you know exactly what I do. Then he know it ain't his business. Don't ask nothing else. You know what I mean?
Right.
But it's cool. You know, you didn't tell him nothing. I said, these folks around your trip. So we keep it quiet. You know, Billy told me. So I found that out. Somebody else had told me about what's around here. And then Billy said he knows that because the dude that used to work. Do you know Block? You know Block, don't you?
No, but I've heard.
Yeah, so do the work
Yeah.
for Block, when Belay was managing Block's trucking company, that dude, his parents live over, his father's a judge. And so they live like right on the same block as me, you know. I was just going off the energy. I said,
Right.
energy is quiet over here, it's peaceful, and the energy felt right. And it's off the water, you know, so I can go on my dock and write and jobs. That's why I chose it. If I had known it was police over here like that, I wouldn't have moved over here.
You know, someone asked that in the
But
chat also.
they asked if I had known.
Judges and police, that's safe.
Yeah, no, no, it felt peaceful. I didn't say, it felt peaceful. Is it safe? Probably not for me and my family, but we're gonna, you know, we just stayed ourselves. I'm the type of person. I go and try to meet the people in the neighborhood and stuff because you know stuff go down. We gotta get together as a neighborhood and everything. But no, I just stay to myself. We just stay quiet, you know. And somebody said should have minded his own until invited. Yes, he should have. And that it doesn't matter what his race is either, but especially since he was a white dude, that he's exercised his privilege.
Right.
Whatever they are, even if it wasn't police around here, whatever they, you ask for people's, you know, permission to come on their property, he would have gotten to know, but cause I don't know, and ain't trying to get to know him. But
Right.
yeah, when I found out it was judges and police, we found that out. I found that out from somebody else uh, who looks out for me. I found that out probably 2 weeks after we purchased this place. And then uh, Belay, you know, told me when he came over. He said, "Oh, I know y'all lived here." And I said, "Yeah, they told me." You know, hopefully, all those folks move the hell out of here
Yeah. Now that you're there,
because
you're gonna turn the tide.
they all old. Well, there's some other black folks here too, but that's why I don't, you know, my wife's big on just talking with the black neighbors and everything. And I said, "Dear, you know, be careful of these motherfuckers."
Right. Because that ain't one of us no more.
I mean, when
It
I
might
was
look a lot like us, but
we pulled up, and my wife said, "Oh, hey, how you all doing?" I said, "Dear." And the dude comes over to speak, and he goes to the back of on my side, just like a cop would do. I said, "This motherfucker," and he's old. I said, "It's still in him."
right.
I imagine he retired. I don't know, but I would think he's retired. He's still. I said, "This motherfucker coming over here, goddamn, like he's doing a police interview."
Right. Like he doing a stop.
Right. Like,
That's
damn, you know. So
wow. That's
you know,
messed up.
so the lesson, folks, is when you buy a place, research that place fully when you spend
Right.
your money on these places, you know. And I went by the feeling, but you got to go by your feeling and your thinking. Okay.
And Baba, I was gonna say something else too, based on what you were talking about right before this.
Mhm.
It's sort of, I think, when I started to once I had a child and I was out living in the world and thinking more about what I later learned was situational awareness. I kind of developed this self philosophy that I used to call to myself. I used to call it sometimes close is close enough,
Mhm.
and that was, when especially men, but even, women, because they can be involved in all kinds of things too, would come up to me asking me all kinds of questions or would be trying to be in a certain proximity to me. I'm like, when they present themselves as like this neutral or non-threatening person, but if you allow them, within a certain distance of yourself, then when they turn, they're right there on you.
Right.
So it's something that you have to be thinking about, when, like you said, when you don't know people. That's when you really have to be aware of what's going on around you, especially like at that time I had a small child, so it was on my mind a lot, because you're allowing this person in your space with your child here, and you don't know who's around the corner. You don't know
Right.
what's really happening, you know. So I just wanted to throw that in.
I'll end by saying this. When I was at Howard, uh, you know, so Howard's in Northwest DC. Uh, it's fairly peaceful around there, if you will. But on Georgia Avenue, I was sitting in this place. It's called Roy Rogers. It's a restaurant. I guess it's named after the Roy Rogers from the movies or something. But I'm in there eating. I'm looking out the window, and it's these five girls, and I'm walking up the street, and it's a dude walking the other way, with his briefcase. Older gentleman, about well, like in his 40s, older gentleman. And these girls, they probably 18 to 20, 22 or something. They didn't go to Howard, but they, in that age range. Fine. So I'm looking because I'm looking at them. God damn, every last one of them is fine. And he probably looking too. But he's looking, ain't paying attention to nothing. So he walking with his briefcase. And one girl come from behind her back. Boom! Hit him in the head with a baseball bat. I said, oh, damn. And he drops. They go, they take his briefcase. He's unconscious on the street. And they walk into Roy Rogers and say, oh my God. And they look at me, I look at them, I'm looking at them like, oh shit. They're looking at me like I'm looking at them like, oh shit, like I'm liking them. And I was right until they hit the man in the head with the baseball bat. And they come in and say, hey, cutie, hey, so-and-so, so-and-so. And I'm trying to think of how do I get out of here. So I'm sitting in the boot bump, they slide into the booth.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they really were flirting just with me. I ain't had nothing on me. I ain't like I like a college student. I had no money. But I was worried, and I wouldn't want to be with no woman that bust no dude upside the head and take his briefcase. No way.
Right.
And I'm like, yeah, I'm trying to fake flirt. I say, get your number to one of the sisters.
That's awkward.
I take her number as I'm sliding out the booth and get up out of there. And that was a lesson. I'm always thankful that I get real life lessons all the time. And I said to myself, thank you for the lesson. As I left, the lesson is it don't matter how good it look, but you better keep your fucking focus and your situational awareness keen.
Yeah, bomb.
And perhaps you may end up with that person. Because maybe you don't get your head busted because you kept your job aware. But maybe you get your head busted, And even then, you looking and they don't do it then. You see her later and she trying to talk and you go to your house. And maybe the setup is she gets in your house and takes more. So you got to watch your surroundings, but don't worry. So I wouldn't, even after that happened, I wasn't walking home worried that they behind me.
Right.
And if I ever saw them again, I would just keep my eyes open. The chick might, you never called me. Oh, damn, girl, I lost your number.
Right.
Yeah, I lost your number. Because we ain't had no cell phones back then. I had calls. I lost your number. You writing it on paper. Give me your number. I lost it, babe. I'm sorry. We get it again, Let's rekindle this. I'll be out again. Never call again, So
they weren't going to Howard. They were in a different college, different type of learning.
School of hard knocks. School of hard knocks. And the dude with the briefcase was now in the school of hard knocks too, because he got knocked
on the other
end. Right. So he learned a lot too.
Right.
Professor, and he was the student in that. So you all, if you got any other questions, type it in the chat. Says Word that must have been a while ago. What, Word don't exist no more or something? Anyway, must have been 15 of them at least. No, it was 5 of them. They had a baseball bat too. They busted dude's head. The baseball bat make up another 5.
Right.
It busted their skull. And his lack of awareness make up another 5.
Mm-hmm.
So, I guess you can say it's 15. Somebody said, "Yeah, I'm looking at finding a place. The census has some useful maps. If you're looking for places to live, try to talk to people that you know personally if you can first. Okay, if you don't have it, then you can use the internet and stuff like that. But if I had known people that if I had talked to Belay beforehand, say, hey, we plan on moving over here, but we were keeping it a secret until we moved into the place. That's just how we move. So sometimes that can hurt you when you got comrades who maybe because he could have said, hey, it's judges and police over there. We would have went somewhere else. You know, but Ray Rogers ain't around like that. Okay, yeah, it was around back in the day. But anyway, put in the chat any questions you have for us. Thank you, Ominiki. It was a great show again.
Thank you, Baba. Yes, wonderful show. And thank you to everyone in the chat. Thank you for all of your questions, your donations. I mean, you really make up a wonderful component of the show.
Absolutely. So thank you. Yes, and stay black or whatever it is you may be. Love y'all. Be safe
Hmm.
out here. Stay strong.
And,
Peace.
and shout out to Belay. Safe travels.
Shout out to Be Late Safe Travels, and I'll see you soon. And me and him will be traveling at the end of the month, so we'll be keeping you abreast of all that. Peace. Peace,
Peace.
y'all. And glad you enjoyed Beneath. You're enjoying Beneath the Shining Jewel. That's one of my favorite books to write. Peace.